Good morning, y'all, and Chatelet, everyone. This is going to be a very complicated review because it's not so much about the hardware as it is about the other stuff. So let's get right into it. I bought this Meridian -2 Explorer DAC, Explorer-2, to play MQA files. There's a lot of the Meridian's been around for many years, and there's been this MQA, Master Quality Authenticated codec for music files for a few years, but the discussion's really heated up this year, and it's very hot, and I'd like to go over a few of those things. So that's the box you see. Here's the little DAC. And on the end of the DAC, we have a headphone jack, and then the one with the plug in it is the line out. So you can use it as a DAC to feed an amp, or you can use it as a DAC and headphone amp with a headphone. And then on the other end, we have the power supply because this would draw too much power to run off a phone. The Dragonfly DAC that I have will run off of a phone with the adapter because it's very low power, but this is not. So anyway, the DAC, I got it just to play MQA files. And these three lights on here have a lot to do with the kind of quality signal that's coming into the DAC. Because you know the music player is just going to send digital output directly from your music file, whether it's an MP3 or a WAV file or a FLAC file or whatever it is, going to send that digital output directly to this DAC across the USB, and the DAC will do all the translating into analog audio to feed your headphone or speakers. So much for the DAC. And by the way, they issued a little cable for this, which is of course USB going into your computer, and then the mini USB, which is kind of uncommon these days to connect to this DAC. Plug that right in here. So there's the cable plugged into the DAC. And see, this little DAC came with a little sleeve of some kind, kind of useless. There's the outer box that the whole thing came in, like a shipping box, and then of course there's another shipping box around that. I think that's pretty much the essential parts to this whole thing. So why MQA? Well, it started with streaming. They said that streaming files were usually not that great a quality, but by putting an MQA code in there, which takes some of the higher resolution stuff that can't fit into streaming or can't fit into Bluetooth or whatever, they've compacted it, not just with like a zip file, like doing FLAC from WAV files, but they've actually compressed it like steganography. If you don't know what steganography is, you can look it up. It's a way to pack information into unused areas of a file. So anyway, MQA files, supposedly if it's like CD quality, the file physically is CD quality, it'll give you maybe high-res quality audio, and if it's a streaming file at MP3 rates, it'll give you CD quality. So the quality is better than what the file would indicate because it's packed with more goodies, and then this gadget here will unpack all that and give you better audio. So some of the things I got into with this MQA, for one thing, it's really difficult to get straight answers on a lot of stuff. Like for example, some of the MQA'd CDs out there or downloads aren't even labeled MQA, so it's kind of hit or miss there. MQA is supposed to sound better, but in some cases it might not, depending on your hardware, depending on your configurations, depending on a whole lot of factors. You know, I mean, the MQA people are kind of guessing when they create those masters, you know, what's actually going to be heard with what gear and everything. And of course they'd like you to buy an MQA music player for $500 or whatever, and then of course some MQA DAC enjoy this stuff. And then a lot of people are worried about MQA being proprietary and an effective form of DRM, digital rights management, and so on. So, you know, I don't know, any file I get that's MQA that I have any suspicion of, whatever, as far as DRM goes, I just put it in a special folder and, you know, don't bet my life on it. You know, the stuff that I keep permanently that I'm sure will play forever, generic files, I keep it in my main folders, safely protected from the internet and any, you know, hackers and things like that. So there's just a few thoughts on MQA, but there's a heck of a lot of discussion going on about it. And is it good or is it bad? So just wanted to give you some heads up on that whole subject of MQA Master Quality Authenticated. And of course, you know, like anything else in the world, as the internet pipes supposedly improve and streaming gets better and so on and so forth, question becomes then why MQA? Well, because whatever they have in terms of capacity for broadcasting a signal, if it's an MQA signal, it's going to be better, so on. So it all remains to be seen. But anyway, I got this little DAC. It originally cost $300, and I don't know if they're getting ready to obsolete this, but they dropped it to $200, and I got it off of Music Direct, the Music Direct site. $200, and other people like Amazon sell them, but I don't buy from Amazon. Part of the reason I don't buy from Amazon is they have no shipping options. Everything defaults to parcel post, which doesn't even deliver. So anyway, so much for the post office. Anyway, I don't know, it's a fun experiment, something to look into, and you know, hey, there you go.